How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Ironsmith Designs. This is going to be a fun video, at least for me, but probably for a lot of you too, if a lot of you watching are interested in this machine, because I just got a brand new CNC router. I've had one for a very long time that I use and love. I use it all the time. The problem is with the one that I currently have, the workspace is 16.5 by 16.5. That limits me on what I can do with it, mainly in regards to doing certain accessories for recording studios that I want to do. And then in regards to guitars, I can't work on a full body. And this will give me the ability not only to make guitars from scratch, but to modify guitars by doing engravings or carvings in pre-existing bodies. So that's a really cool feature. What this is a FoxAlien Masuter 3 with the 8040 expansion. So it gives you, I believe it's about 16 by 32 inches. It just gives me a lot more capability. Plus, when I'm doing certain things, I can run both machines simultaneously and increase productivity, which is a huge plus. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna unbox this thing. We're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna assemble it. We're going to ooh and ah over it after it's assembled, and then we're going to get it out into the garage and we are going to do a test cut with it. So let's go ahead, crack this open, and get to the unboxing and, more importantly, the assembly. So luckily, since I don't have one of these already pre-built, I basically get to build this and then connect everything out of that into this. So base frames, and then a cat that just decided that he's going to come in and inspect this entire process. All right, so I'm going to read through the manual here, and then we'll jump ahead, okay? Now, one thing I do want to point out from the instructions here is if you look, it doesn't really tell you where these screws go. It just kind of points, right? And when you get a cat in your way, it really doesn't tell you where to put these screws, right? It just kind of points. And when you look over here and you see this spacing, then you see like you have one screw on the end, or one screw hole here, and then a wide gap and another screw hole, then another screw hole. And you can see there's a wide gap here. So, you know, you have to go 3 holes in. It would have been nice if they would have told you that, but they don't. They just say step 1, assemble the new 4080 base frame and the support profiles. The instructions could be a little bit better written than it is, but you know, it's not a big deal. You're probably, if you get one of these and you're assembling it, you're probably going to just want to read a page or two ahead while you're assembling it, just to make sure that you got everything right. And here, assembling the M530 bolts together, you're going to have 6 bolts, 6 spring washers, and then 6 standard washers. And it says here 5mm spring washer, 6-piece. I have 4 left over. Let's see, this says 6-piece as well. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 4 more. So it looks like they give you a little extra on some of the accessories just in case. So it's not a bad thing. Either that or it's just a mess with you. So you get everything assembled and then you're like, wait a minute, why are there extra pieces? Did I do something wrong? So it's possible. So there's the base frame. Got rubber feet on the bottom. Everything's squared up. Okay, so a couple things that I noticed while I was unboxing this that I like and don't like. First of all, I love the fact that everything is well organized as far as the packaging goes, the lights, the clamps, your bits and cables, you know, tools, wires, Z probe, you know, for calibration. You got spare belts, spare limit switch. You have your spindle. It also comes with a larger adapter, so I can use my Makita trim router with it, which is nice. Then you have the adapter for your stock spindle, which the stock spindle is going to work fine for the main thing I'm going to use this for. Again, all of your screws and hardware is well labeled out. I love the fact that if you check this out, it's already got the limit switches on it, you know? So when homing, that's wonderful that most of this is already assembled, which is just, again, going to make everything so much easier. And make sure the wheel's exactly on the track of the small rod. It's not difficult to assemble, but the instructions suck. All right, so I have the Y rails with the X rail assembled. Of course, pre-attached to the X rail was the gantry for the spindle, so we have our X, Y, and Z axes all together. And now we have to attach it to our frame. After that, we've got to put the belts on the Y rails, and then we got to put the spoil board down. I'm not going to attach any of the electronics or run any of that stuff, any of the wiring, until I have this down in the garage and I'm ready to actually try a cut and power things on and so forth and have it in a place where it's going to stay for a while. Okay, so the belts, again, are something that require parts from the main machine to assemble. Because you have to take, if you can see, these pieces off of the original rails and retrofit them onto the new rails, Y rails, with the new belt. If you can see here, on this right here, this plate has these two smaller screws. The belt goes through, underneath and through, and then this comes over and tensions it, and that's what holds the belt onto this mount plate. And then this slides back and screws onto this here, and then you have this holding it down too. So you have two screws to hold the tension, which is actually a very nice feature. So far, the build quality of this unit, I'm actually impressed with for the money. Alright, so I have the machine down here in my garage, have it set up on my table, and got it all wired up. It's super simple to wire. Everything is well labeled. For instance, it says right there Z limit from the Z limit switch, and then from your wiring harness it says Z limit. So, you know, you plug Z limit to Z limit. It's pretty simple, right? Y to Y and X to X. So pretty straightforward. I love this little gooseneck light that it has. You do have the ability to turn it off on the power supply here. We've already got everything set up in a universal G-code sender, which is what I use for my other CNC machine, which is over there. and I've already hit home, and you can see that it's working fine. So we're going to get this started and then come back in about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, and see what the final product's like. So 3, 2, 1. Does sound terrible because that's a crappy piece of warped plywood I'm using. So don't expect the final product to look amazing, but we're making our first cuts. And I will see you in about an hour and a half or so. All right, here we are. We have our final cut. There's a few reasons why it doesn't look pretty. One, this is crappy plywood, and between the different layers of crappy plywood, you know, you're going to have a lot of weird contrasts that are going to take away from what this carving is, with like the fact that this is a guitar, you know, and this is a hand. The other thing is you can see that this is warped, so we're going to have inconsistencies in our Z, which is going to give more depth here and less depth up here. This is 1/4 inch ply. My maximum depth was going to be an 1/8 inch, and I'm using a ball nose, not a V-bit, so there's many reasons why this doesn't look great. That's not the point. You know, the point wasn't to make something that looks great. I can see the detail. I can see what I needed to see. I also smoothed out this depth map before I brought it in to export it to G-code, so I knew it wasn't going to have a high level of detail to begin with. The thing is I can see the guitar, I can see the hand, I can see the shoulder and the hair, I can see the things that I wanted to see. This is just under 6 inches from left to right, and top to bottom is 5 1/4, which is exactly what I wanted it to be. I was more so testing the reliability. It followed the basic geometry, and then it followed more intricate stuff. The most sophisticated thing I'm going to be using this for is to carve guitar bodies, which is not very sophisticated to begin with. That's why people do it with routers and bandsaws and rasps. You don't need a CNC machine to do guitars. So all in all, for the money, and for, I mean, the build quality is good. It works. I really honestly at this point in time can't complain. I will do a follow-up to this after I've put it through its paces, because starting this weekend I'm going to be making some products for my reverb store on this. So yeah, maybe towards the end of the year, after I've put a few hundred hours on it, you know, we'll discuss whether it was actually worth the investment or not. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's not perfect. Expect some issues, especially when it comes to the instructions. But until the next video, thank you. I appreciate it if you've watched this far. Please do feel free to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and help the channel and the company grow. It would be greatly appreciated. But for now, I bid you farewell. Thank you.